Among the Hidden takes place in the not-too-distant future. Although now that the book is 20 years old, it's more like the book takes place in the past. Who could have predicted the internet would move beyond chat rooms? Argofont Book Review, Argofont Book Review. This review was commissioned through Patreon. There is a law against having more than 2 children. Luke is a 3rd child, and he's forced to spend most of his life indoors, hidden from everyone. The family's farm is pretty isolated until Luke turns 12. The government tears down the woods next to the farm in order to build fancy houses for the upper class. This means Luke is forced to start hiding in earnest. He can't even enter the kitchen anymore. The most he can do is look out through the heating vents in the attic. Trouble comes when the government orders the family to sell all of their pigs, which is their main source of income. Plus, their property taxes have tripled. Mother is forced to get a job at a factory to make ends meet. Now Luke is alone in the house most of the time. One day he sneaks down from the attic and tries to make bread for everyone. Dad catches him, and he gets in huge trouble for taking such a risk. Plus, his bread is metaphorically terrible. By chance, Luke sees a face in the window of an empty house. He spies on it for a long time and sees occasional signs that someone's inside. Luke breaks into the house to find another 3rd child. Her name is Jen, and she's very outgoing. Luke is overwhelmed when talking to her. At first, he has trouble knowing how conversations work. He's thrown off whenever there's a change of topic. It makes sense that he doesn't know how to talk, because this is the first time he's talked to someone besides a family member. Still, Luke comes across as kind of dumb here. He's read Treasure Island many times. He should be able to follow a more complicated conversation. Although Jen is hidden, she's far more bold about her life. She doesn't avoid computers like Luke does. She occasionally leaves the house with Mom to go shopping at a mall which is hours away. Her family's rich enough to afford soda and chips, which are technically illegal. Jen explains the population law was passed after a famine in order to prevent mass starvation. Jen thinks there's more than enough food now, so the government should repeal the law. Luke isn't sure if he should believe the government's statements, which are obviously biased in their favor, or if he should believe the strangers on the internet, who are biased in the opposite direction. This book is so relevant to modern times, I swear. Most shadow kids get a fake ID and start a new life when they become adults. Jen hates the idea because they shouldn't need fake identities. They are real people who have a right to exist. Jen runs an online chat room just for shadow kids. She plans a rally in April. Almost 1,000 shadow kids will go to the president's house and protest. She thinks that will bring an end to the population law. Jen is super excited on the month of the rally. Luke apologizes, but he can't go with her. He's too afraid. He's not as brave as Jen. And besides, she already has way more freedom than he can dream of. They get into a fight and stop talking to each other. She asks him one last time on the night of the rally, but he still says he can't go with her. Jen doesn't come home the next day, and there is no news about the rally. Luke breaks into Jen's house and asks about her in the chat room. Jen's father shows up. He is a double agent for the population police. He's trying to stop them from the inside. He explains all 40 people who showed up at the rally were quickly killed. Almost no one knows it happened. They discuss Jennifer and the government in general. It's hard to know the truth when both sides are lying. It's clear that the government keeps some families, like Luke's, on the edge of poverty to ensure they will work harder. Other families, like Jen's, are kept rich and get special privileges. That's totally unfair. The population police show up because they saw the chat room message that Luke sent. Jen's father manages to get rid of them through strong bluffing and bribery. He's confident they bugged his house. It's too dangerous for Luke now. Luke knows he can't accomplish anything by hiding, so he gets a fake ID from Jen's dad. Now he's Lee Grant, and he is sent to a full-time boarding school. The end. Post-book follow-up. This is a good book. It moves quickly and the world is very well thought out. The touches of realism are undeniable because there are countries that enacted totalitarian laws to limit population growth. It's not impossible that something similar could happen in our country. There are definitely people who think it's extremely immoral to have more than two kids. Some critics thought this world was oversimplified, but I did not. We are talking about a boy who never goes beyond a 1 block radius. It would not work within the story's parameters to show off a wide variety of people, places, and viewpoints. I can understand wanting to see all sorts of viewpoints, but it wouldn't work in the context of the story. At one point, Dad tries growing plants in the house, but the government finds out and shuts down the operation. This is more chilling than the characters realize. The government is obsessed with stopping a famine, but they are willing to destroy food sources that they didn't pre-approve. That's more about controlling people's lives than it is about saving people's lives. Overall, I really liked the book. I wish I had read it as a kid. It probably would have held the same fascination for me that The Giver did. The Giver is another science fiction book where families aren't allowed to have more than two kids. I'm not surprised that this book is still popular over 20 years later. I give Among the Hidden a 9 out of 10.